On this episode of Cumberland Rover, action and adventure, the reason you all come to this channel. Trees are falling and beavers are splashing. The lake is in turmoil. It's pure chaos.
Soon may the wellerman come, bring us coffee, tea, and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, take our leave and go. At a fair in the sun of town, her hair was blonde and this was brown. Soon may the wellerman come around.
I'm launching my 12-foot home-built sail and oar skiff from a pretty big campground in LBL using my newly modified dolly. You may remember the dolly had a few design issues the last time I tried to use it, but I've now got some steel angle plates in place of the little stumpy 2x4s, and it's working. I even put a coat of paint on it. The dolly is meant to move the boat very short distances from the truck to the water's edge when the terrain in between is too rough. And in this case, the terrain is just fine. I just wanted to test out the dolly. My videos don't always come out in chronological order, and there's really no rhyme or reason to the order that they do come out in. It's just kind of whichever one I'm enthusiastic about editing at the time. On this one, we rewind back to the merry month of May. In this area, we were getting some heavy rainfall and even severe weather, and a lot of hype about potential tornadoes that never happened. As a result of the copious amounts of rain, the lake level is way up, and I would not be one to squander an opportunity for some creek exploration. The high water makes it possible to get much further up the creeks of the Cumberland and of Lake Barkley Reservoir. My primary purpose for being on this particular bay today is to get to the back of the bay and check out that flooded creek. There's a perfect west wind blowing almost parallel to shore, and this is unfavorable for reaching the creek, but I can't bear to squander a perfect wind like this, so before checking out the creek, I decided to go for a sail, aiming for a small cove just inside the mouth of the bay. I'm sailing just shy of a beam reach. A beam reach would mean the angle of the wind is 90 degrees to the center line of the boat, blowing directly across the width of the skiff. I don't feel the need to drop the dagger board down, and she will make a little bit of leeway, but not so much. The hard chines, or the hard edges between the side plank and bottom plank of the skiff, will provide some lateral resistance, preventing it from being blown sideways and slipping across the water in the wrong direction. Reaching the cove, the fun is over all too fast, but I figure I might as well try a little fishing while I'm here. Leaves and sticks and random sediment in the water are an indication that the lake is rising. This massive fallen tree likely came down overnight during some pretty bad storms. This seems like good structure to attract fish. Bored of fishing, I set out with the oars for the back of the bay to begin the hunt for Craven's Creek. Craven's Creek is a pretty major broad creek in LBL, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. I don't have far to row, but the west wind is making me work for every inch gained. I see a big opening in the trees at the back of the bay, and I figure that must be Craven's Creek. It seemed promising at first, but gradually the way started to narrow, and I realized maybe I wasn't in the right place. Perhaps I should actually consult a chart or GPS. Reluctantly stooping to the level of consulting modern technology, my GPS revealed that Craven's Creek was indeed just a little bit south of where I was. For whatever reason, the mouth of the creek had been concealed to my original angle of approach. Picking my way through floating limbs and debris, I followed the tree line until the creek bed became more distinct. There was a lot of fallen timber to deal with, but I didn't mind the challenge actually. This obstacle was easy enough to overcome. The branch was rotten. It was a simple matter of busting it up and moving it out of the way. This fallen timber was looking like the end of the line, but I wasn't ready to quit. Luckily, there was a clear path in the grass just to the right of the fallen tree. This is one of those places where I have to step very carefully and slowly, watching for snakes. A lot of people are surprised to learn how many armadillos are in Kentucky, especially in LBL. They're an invasive species migrating up from the south. Wonder if this poor guy got washed out of his hole with the creek swell. Traveling upstream deep into the heart of the forest, the creek gradually became narrower and narrower. Finally, at this big fallen oak, it seemed like I had reached the end of the line for real. There was a possibility of sliding the skiff under, but I was satisfied with the distance I had covered. This would make a good turning around point. Pennants are now available at cumberlandrover.com. Historically flown for signal purposes, a pennant is that indescribable something that your boat is missing. They can help you read the wind, increase visibility of your small craft, and they just look cool, fluttering from the masthead or yard of a lug sail. You can have any color you want, as long as it's bright red. I have 2 styles of pennant now available at cumberlandrover.com.